Oh yeah, okay. Let's sure. um, yeah, I guess this is fine. So, question from Taurus JKL. As an investor, have you defined for yourself some events that would make you sell most of your BTC or BCH? And if so, what are those? Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I think that if a coin that started from a different genesis block than that of the original Bitcoin were to have the highest market cap, then I would take that as a sign that that I didn't know what was going on with Bitcoin, and that things were more confused than I would be willing to deal with. Okay, I'm just asking how I'm doing. Okay, I'm just gonna keep going. Video is black. Oh, great. I mean, how do I see what I'm what I am supposedly what is the experience for the audience at least? Oh, there we go. Thanks. Yeah. Oh, I guess that was probably in the tweet that I posted earlier. Oh, okay. So now I can hear the echo. Okay. I mean, it doesn't really make any sense that I just don't know. Like, my computer wasn't even making sound before, so I don't know where the echo would have been coming from. So now there's going to be a chat, I guess. Testing. Is the echo fixed? Testing. Is the echo fixed? Yeah, I don't see anything that I have running that could be making an echo. Yeah, I don't see anything that I have running that could be making an echo. Okay, well, I guess I'll answer another question. Okay, well, I guess I'll answer another. Oh my God, this is impossible. I'm hearing myself like a minute later or something, a few seconds later. I mean, um. Okay. Okay, next question from Taurus JKL. You have defined Bitcoin as the sum of all fork coins. You keep an equal ratio of the largest 3 forks in your portfolio when you use, buy, or sell any of them. Which fork coin do you have the most of, and which the fewest today? I have, I mean, for for spending, for actual purchases, I've really only used BTC and BCH, and I don't really pay any attention to the other forks. I mean, I just think that from an abstract standpoint, it's just better to have the treat the index of all forks as your default. But I don't think you should normally have to know very, very much about them. Like, top 2 is pretty good for now, I think. What am I working on / with right now? So okay, I've been working on a video. Well, I have a lot of notes, and my next video is going to be on forks versus alts, and it's going to be on just the topics that I just talked about. So this is good practice. Okay, now let's see what's happening in the YouTube chat. Okay. Screen is black. Yeah. Oh, well, I guess maybe I can see if I can get the camera working. let's see, video output is currently active. I wonder if my camera's turned off. Okay, I don't think we would have to stop the stream, and if I wanted to get video working, I think so. If anyone wants to, I guess people would just rather pay attention now than worry about getting things perfect. So oh, and second, I'm want to do part 2 of the Beaker, Bunkin, and Faulty node, but that is a very tough one because it is about the handicap principle. So I have been reading a lot of the theoretical biology literature on the subject. But that's going to be an exciting video. So that's that's what I would like to focus on. How do I see the restart of Bitcoin Cash in terms of how enthusiastic people are, more or less than in the past? It's hard to say. I mean, I think more enthusiastic. I don't know. Like to me, the BTC crowd is anti-investor, and anything that functions as the best possible hedge against BTC is something that any reasonable person would want. Like I don't know how far the BTC wave is going to keep going, but to me, unless they understand what the bottom line is, it's kind of like there's it would be absurd if they were to maintain their position in the end. But I don't know. I focus on strategy. I don't really have a very clear sense of how people feel about things. I personally think that the best way to drive price up is to get more people using it. Would you agree? And if so, what do you think we can do to increase adoption? Okay, so I think that basically being the most convenient possible thing is kind of what's necessary. So and to me, like, being able to plan long term with a cryptocurrency is better than whether people are using it right now. I see proof of work as being a fundamental improvement on the way that people achieve a consensus, and I think that the most important reasons that someone would be buying crypto is long term things like evading inflation and capital controls. And it's I think just having a better long-term prognosis than the dollar is sort of the main thing for me. but and I am focused on abstract issues, I think. So what I think that forks are good for is for resolving the future state of Bitcoin. So that's why I like to think of the Bitcoin index, the sum of all forks, as being the sort of like the fundamental thing. That's the first thing you think about, and the different coins in it are they're like ideas about what the future of Bitcoin is going to look like. And I will be happy when people are using it all the time, but I don't know. I don't know how you can relate current use of the coin to value. To me, it is just that the rules of Bitcoin are just better. They're just a better way of cooperating with one another. But he said, I personally think the best way to drive price up is to get more people using it. So yeah, I guess if you just wanted to drive the price up, but that would only be a short-term thing anyway. I mean, Bitcoin just seems to go through these cycles. I don't think attempting to affect the price accomplishes very much. Okay, next question. You are, as many people know, an investor first. Do you use Bitcoin now for purposes other than investing? If so, how usually? If not yet, do you see yourself using it frequently in the near future? So, I pretty much spend money on places near my house. I don't really use Bitcoin in transactions that much, other than when I'm hanging out with Bitcoin people. I don't know. I think that Bitcoin is a better form of cooperation, but the main way I want to interact with people around the world is through ideas. I'm fine economically in my little section of Austin. So, next question. If you send a TX using a bunch of change addresses, you'll have a lot of outputs and pay a higher fee. But what if you send all of that change to a single address? If the recipient sends a TX later, would it be a collection of all the previous outputs and have a high fee, or would it just be a single output with a low fee? So let's see. So I'm sending a TX with a bunch of change addresses. I don't know why you would have multiple change addresses in the first place, unless you wanted to have multiple identities or something. To me, like if you would normally have one change address in a transaction, so you'll have a lot of outputs and pay a higher fee. But what if you sent all of that to change to a single address? If the recipient sends a TX later, would it be a collection of all? So I don't know what I mean. No, the recipient has nothing to do with the change address. So I hope that helped. So next question: what new Bitcoin Cash development doesn't need to be on the protocol level excites you the most? So I guess anything that would make disagreement easier. So I think that the best Bitcoin community would be one in which there can be ideological differences in the community, which does not cause any disruption in Bitcoin development. So I think that this is why I think that forks without replay protection are better, because it is easier to make one transaction, and you can maintain your position in the index containing all of the forks, and you don't have to worry about what the ideologies are up to. So having an ideological division in Bitcoin should interfere as little as possible with the process of investing in the index fund. That would be something that would excite me the most. Let's see. So, one thing I learned recently is that exchanges don't like forks that have replay protection enabled, because they have to enable all of the rules in order for the customers to get their coins. See, so they have extra work every time somebody forks Bitcoin, which anybody can do. You can make an infinite number of forks easily. So they are they don't like forks that because they have to implement the rules, or else they're taking people's money. So if we didn't do replay protection, then they could just make one transaction without knowing the rules of all of the forks. And it could be the customer's job to make sure that the transaction is mined everywhere. BCH has a huge PR problem after years of core propaganda. How does Bitcoin Cash beat the propaganda and establish its value without the bickering and baggage? So one thing that I would like to get started is So I think that the value of Bitcoin is that it is simply a better form of cooperation, and so I think that if BCH people are investing in learning better ways of cooperating with one another, that is more attractive than attempting to deal with the core propaganda with outsiders, because I think that you don't have to. It's really better to only worry about attracting the most intelligent people who haven't got into Bitcoin yet. And to me, like somebody who is paying any attention at all should be able to see that there's something strange going on in the BTC camp. And if they don't, they'll just be turned into a cult member anyway, which means they're not an asset to BTC. So if somebody is manipulated by propaganda, I think you should focus on finding the people who are not manipulated by the propaganda. That's what I've been doing, rather than attempting to. I think you've already lost the moment you start trying to fight a propaganda war. So this is one thing that I would like to do. I think that a good way of so there's an infinite amount of energy or information being generated in Bitcoin, right? Because it's a permissionless system, okay? And you can't resolve it. Potentially infinite, not really infinite, but there's no known limit, since everybody in Bitcoin can be generating as much information as they want, right? So how do we have an argument about how to advance Bitcoin if everybody can generate an infinite amount of information, right? How do you know what to pay attention to? So I think that what we should do is we should say that if somebody wants to have a particular issue be the center of attention in Bitcoin, they should describe the issue and do proof of work on what they've written. And then whatever they said that has whatever anybody says that has the most proof of work on it in a given week, that's the issue that's the main current event in Bitcoin. And so I am going to say that I will in the future offer my opinion on whatever issue has the most proof of work performed on it. And I said that once on Twitter, but so far nobody noticed. But that is an open offer, which I think could develop into a very important tradition. So, let's see. Is BitPico spinning facts about BCH, or are they completely making things up? I don't know what BitPico is. Okay, I found a Twitter account. Bitcoin developers, miners, and whales. Most of the Bcash network is concentrated on 12 ASNs. I'm looking at something that BitPico retweeted from, I posted the link. I can't post web addresses in the chat. Okay. That's weird. Okay, wait, I'm going to the AMA chat. Okay, I found this tweet that says 80% of the Bcash network is concentrated on 12 ASNs. Most are public cloud providers. I think that this is ridiculous. Like, whatever. the shape of the network doesn't matter to me. I just think that doing the most proof of work is a superior way of coming to a consensus that, where the computers are and who they are. That's Bitcoin is, so that, they say that code is law, but if that's true, it shouldn't matter. Everybody should want to be applying the law, right? If they don't, then that just means they don't want to be part of the conversation. Obsessed with launching an attack on the Bitcoin network. Oh man. Yes, well. Okay. Cash Shuffle looks promising, and the CSW has hinted at coming privacy tech from nChain. What do you think would be the wisest way to approach privacy on BCH? Or is it necessary at all? Okay, so I would say that anytime CSW hints at anything, just ignore it. I just don't think that... I just think that's a trick. Just don't pay attention to that. Pay attention to things that are out. You know what I mean? Like if you can see it and it works, then good. Pay attention to that. Somebody's going around hinting at something. If see, this is why I do the Emperor Bitcoin thing, because I think that this sort of thing is just a trick. So I just do all these hints where I'm like, did you know everybody secretly listens to me? The people are going to talk about that, right? Or maybe they shouldn't. Maybe that's just a trick. You know what I mean? What do you think would be the wisest way to approach privacy on BCH? Or is it necessary at all? I don't know. That's a tough one. I haven't even had a chance to look into this in a while. But you have to think about what privacy really means and what you really want, and you have to understand what kind of privacy is actually provided, and how important it is, how important it will really be for people. Daniel K, do you think Nick Szabo is the real Satoshi? Oh wait, I missed one. Do you see toxic people in BCH, and how would you suggest to stop them from steering the community in the same direction as Core? Oh, the answer to that is the same thing I said earlier. The highest proof of work issue is the main event. That's the current event, because somebody who wants to be a troll or who just wants to whine about something won't do proof of work. And if they do, then they have to expend their own energy on it, because they won't be able to convince anybody else to do it for them. Do you think Nick Szabo is the real Satoshi? No. I had this conversation with Nick Szabo that was just like ridiculous. I think this was in 2015, and he was like one of my heroes for shelling out and many other things that he's written. But he was just like, I don't think Bitcoin can be a good store of value until the price level is constant. And I was just like, what? To me, I think Bitcoin prices are hilarious. I think it's fine. I don't have a problem with them. To me, it's just kind of like the entire world is insane. So, and Bitcoin is like an imaginary good. So it's just like people's emotions. That's you know what I mean? Like it's not connected to any kind of production of anything that's useful for some kind of physical reason, right? So Bitcoin prices to me are like the collective unconscious, and to me, I think that's great. I don't know why I don't know. I just think Nick Szabo was like someone. I don't know. That just seemed like a very silly thing for him to say. Let's see. Can we expect more Narnia-based psychology analysis coming up? Definitely not. No, I don't think that we need any more of that. If the government where you were located told you that you could no longer work on the Nakamoto Institute project, how would you respond? I would say fine, because I'm pretty sure that. Well, no, that doesn't make any sense. No, I mean, no, that would be giving away too much. No, I would first try to make it a free speech issue, because I don't think that they can. I guess I would say I would simultaneously that just doesn't make any sense. I don't understand the question. Like I don't think someone would just tell me not to work at it. There would be some kind of like legal system that I would probably have to go through. So I don't know what I would do. That I don't think that's I mean, it would be great if they were to say something that bluntly, because then it would be obvious that the government was in the wrong, right? So I might not even have to go through the legal system. I could just like point to them telling me that, and that would make them look stupid. So I guess I would just inform people that I had received a message of this kind. That would be my main response. Next one. Bitcoin is supposed to be a different kind of monetary system helping to liberate the world. However, how can this happen if only a few hold a large number of coins? Are we just replacing the old order with a new one? Well, I mean, I think that any way of making decisions will privilege certain people who are more competent at being the center of attention, right? So, or I should say, not even being the center of attention, but just being connected to other people. And whatever your ideology is, the reality is that there is always a game that is about being connected being in the center of the network, right? And uh, and having more money is potentially a way that you can have a louder voice. But I don't think that you need that. I think that it's I guess I would say somebody who is trying to use money to be better connected is just not very good at keeping money, because to me that is not a very good use of money. So I am not terribly concerned with an unequal distribution of coins. To me, more money gets you more stuff if you want. I don't agree that the game ultimately depends on having more money. What do I see the mission of the Nakamoto Institute? So originally the mission of the Nakamoto Institute was to make it easier for people to find the classic cypherpunk writings, so that they would be able to understand the cypherpunk tradition more easily. Because at the time we started, these writings were kind of all over the place, and they were hard to find, and it was hard to find information on them, and most libertarians didn't really understand them very well. They were kind of like a close knit group that few could penetrate. So there was that, and there was keeping Satoshi Nakamoto at the center of attention in Bitcoin, because we thought that there was a movement to kind of forget about him at the time, because people said it would be too controversial to have an anonymous anarchist creator, and to me that's just stupid. So we didn't want people to stop talking about him. So if cryptocurrencies reach... Oh, and also talk about Austrian economics. I forgot that one, yeah. But a lot of people in Bitcoin didn't know anything about Austrian economics. So we wanted to link these two worlds. We wanted there to be a transmission of ideas from the cypherpunks into the libertarians, into the rest of the libertarians, I should say, and from and in particular the Austrians, right? Because they did not have a clue about the cypherpunks, in my opinion. Very few people who were good at Austrian economics at the time could understand anything about the cypherpunks, as far as I could tell. And I used to pay a lot of attention to the Mises Institute, but when they first started learning about Bitcoin, they just wrote the worst stuff on it. I couldn't believe some of the stuff that came out about it. They were like, Bitcoin will definitely crash and go to zero because it didn't have a use value before it had an exchange value. And that is the regression theorem. So, and to me, like, the regression theorems, if it doesn't have a use value first, the regression theorem says that it should never have a price. That's what I think it says. And so then, like, this was years after Bitcoin got started, and you could show them the price chart, and they would be like, that's not real. That's what it felt like. Anyway, so yeah, so we wanted them to learn about the cypherpunks, but they didn't very well. And we wanted Bitcoiners to learn about Austrian economics. And so I guess we have failed at both missions. So sorry. Okay. Next question. If cryptocurrencies reach mass adoption, do you believe that politics will capture the continued development of the currency, or that permissionless innovation and development will continue free from an United Nations kind of body? So I think that that politics in Bitcoin um, is much more about rhetoric than violence. So I think that the people who are good at nation state politics will not be very good at Bitcoin politics. So but I think that there will be politics in Bitcoin, but it will look more like the kind of stuff that I do on my show. It'll look like literature and rhetoric more than it will look like what we have now. You know, uh, and so this idea that I was telling you about doing proof of work to figure out what's the biggest current event of the day, um, that's sort of like me doing Bitcoin politics, because I'm proposing a new tradition that that I think will help things out quite a bit. See, and then you'll have to be like, well, Daniel started that. Um, I don't think there needs to be a body like the United Nations. I think that we could just have a discussion in public, like what I'm doing on YouTube, and that's really all we need. Um, let's see, how's it going? So that's about when I came on and there was an echo and the video wasn't streaming. I wonder if it's still streaming. What if I had stopped streaming a long time ago? Is it still going? Oh yeah, okay, good, it is. So oh, somebody said turning off or unplugging my headphone or speaker. What if it wasn't turned on? Oh, I think my headphone isn't even turned on. Or is it? Oh, can you hear me now? Yeah, I was thinking that this was going to be more like a like a show where normally the host uh, has everything set up. I've never used open broadcast before, so anyway, whatever. Hey, can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Oop. I think yeah, I just didn't have my own. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, yeah. I had to turn my own sound off because it just echoes back a few seconds later. Okay, more questions. Do small full blocks have any intrinsic value at all? No. Or is there room for both core and cash in the economy? Or will one necessarily replace the other? Or will the fight make enough room for another coin altogether to replace all the versions of Bitcoin? I mean, I don't understand what what is valuable about having to pay extra to get proof of work attached to your transaction, regardless of. I mean, simply because you don't want a bit rate of more than 1 megabyte. I don't understand why anybody would think that's a good idea. To me, that's just that's it doesn't make any sense. um, okay. How important is governance in Bitcoin? It's important. If one is to start a Bitcoin fork today, what do you think is the most viable way to maximize likelihood of success? I think that the best thing you could do would be to fork both BTC and BCH at the same time, so that you would have you would have your innovation, and you would promote it to the investors in a way that is independent of whether you like SegWit or not. Because then somebody who likes SegWit and who likes small blocks can also get involved in whatever your new fork idea is. You should try to keep them as even as possible, so that the sum of the two functions like one good. Because it's better if you can test different propositions independent of one another. As to me right now, we've got BTC and BCH are two very different things, and so it's not a very good experiment. And it's better the more refined your experiments become. So that there are many independent options that investors can make rational decisions about. What do you think of miners that are mining BCH even when BTC is more profitable? I guess that means that they want they would rather have BCH than have profits from BTC. So I guess that's kind of like Gresham's law, because they prefer to pay to get extra BCH rather than to earn profits in dollars from BTC. So yeah, that I guess that's what that means. Do you believe in digital cash? This is a good one. If yes, do you define cash as the most liquid vehicle of the realm? Yes, I think that's a good definition. Okay, I don't. Let's see. Are there more questions? Why do you think some core dwarfs want a POW change? I don't know. That's a tough one. To me, proof of work is all what you get out of it is, if you see a lot of leading zeros, that means you're positive a lot of energy has been expended. Well, statistically speaking, because you could get the proof of work on your first try, right? But statistically, you know that there's energy being spent that is exponential in the number of leading zeros at any given time. To me, that's what's good about proof of work. And SHA-256, double SHA-256 seems like it is doing fine. Anything else? Well, I'm at the end of all the questions, I think. Let's see if there's anything in the there arises from time to time propositions that look promising short term but might be damaging to the values of a given coin long term. How should investor deal with these to maximize his profits? So, I mean, I guess I would say that is subjective, and so what you would want is to have the best possible options available for selecting which values are corrupting to Bitcoin in your portfolio. Because right now, I think BTC versus BCH is two rather complex ideologies, and a lot of other stuff mixed in. It's a lot of stuff mixed together. That's what you're comparing. So the best thing would be if every proposition about the future of Bitcoin was a separate investment choice that you could make. So that's why I say developers should follow investors, because that allows investors to separate choices more easily. So if you've got a bunch of developers who are simply creating lots of options and going with whatever becomes the most valuable, that separates developer skill from the future of Bitcoin. And then the investors have it's easier to make choices that way, and it's easier to figure out what's valuable, because ultimately value is about what makes it easiest for different investors to interact with one another, right? So the best way of doing that is just to have lots of options, and for the investors to just figure out what's the best way for them to interact with one another. See? Question for Daniel. Do you prefer the orange color or green color in the logos from BCF? I don't know what BCF is here. I'm sorry. I think my cat needs some attention, because I just got home from a trip, so he is I think he was feeling lonely. Hey, Lemon. Oh, come here. Oop. Here, I put him on my lap, so maybe he will be okay with that. I guess for BCH, I definitely prefer the orange logo, because I like orange a lot better than green. And to me, merely because you are changing the block size, that should not be a reason to change the logo at all. So I think BCH was being very nice to just rotate the logo slightly. And as for BCF, definitely prefer the green logo. What are your thoughts on multi-algorithm designs like Digibyte, which allows them 550 transactions a second while making 51% attacks exponentially more difficult? Is there a benefit to staying married to SHA-256 rather than multi-algorithm? I don't know. To me, that is that's not something that I would want to get involved in. I mean, if you could show that there is some benefit to changing the hash algorithm, that investors would matter to investors, then that would be great. But any such demonstration would ultimately have to be about what is actually going to attract people in the end. It's not about some. If all you do is say that it satisfies some kind of security requirement, that's not good enough. Because whatever you think is better security is not necessarily the same as what the world needs. And so it should be about building what the world needs the most. Okay, it should not be about a definition of security that that you think the world needs, without asking. You know what I mean? So, what is your opinion on the best ways to increase adoption and acceptance of BCH to be used as cash week after week? I mean, to me, it is about it's about Bitcoin being a better way for people to interact with one another. I think you just need to let people look at what you've created, and you need them to find their own profit opportunities in it. Okay, so you need to figure out how to make BTC good for finding profit opportunities now, but ultimately it is about who actually wants to think about it, and somebody who is not interested in looking for more profits in Bitcoin. I mean, people have to want to think about it first. And at any given time, there's only a certain amount of people who are ready, who are interested in examining what Bitcoin is and how it works. So I think that it's just all about making it easy for people to understand when they are interested, and it is about being a better group to be in than the non-Bitcoin world, and figuring out what that means is about the issues that I've been talking about. It's about enabling people to figure out their own best ways of interacting with other people. That means maximizing their options and their ability to connect with other Bitcoiners easily. And that should be a community that people will want to voluntarily enter once they have experienced it. What kind of cat do I have? He's an orange striped cat. That's all I know. I've been discussing the usefulness of sending blockchain data over public radio. Do you think that idea has any real usefulness? Yes, definitely. You should definitely continue with that idea and put all of your available resources into it, because I think that you will be well rewarded for your investment. Assuming BCH becomes cash someday, how do you see Gresham's law impacting it on a day-to-day basis, since it is hard by design? I mean, yeah. I mean, I think that if somebody was really thinking about Bitcoin, he would want to be getting rid of his dollars. That would be the main thing he would want to be spending, spending BCH is about interacting with other Bitcoiners. So I don't know. I think it is fine if there is a learning curve to Bitcoin. To me, like the potential that Bitcoin gets you. Like here's the thing. Here's what I've learned. If you don't understand how some fundamental things about Bitcoin, how Bitcoin actually works, I think that Bitcoin can actually drive you crazy. So I think it's important for people to who get into Bitcoin to be willing to grasp basic things about it. So I mean, of course, I also think it is important for somebody to be able to set up a wallet very quickly and to to be able to achieve basic functionality with it. Like to me, like I don't know, like to me that is sort of like the main. You would have to have some idea about why Bitcoin is better than the national currencies in order to do that in the first place, right? I don't see why you would do that if you didn't already have some understanding of what's going on with Bitcoin. I mean, so uh, uh, so so yeah, Gresham's law. Yeah, people. People should if things are going well, people should be wanting to get rid of their dollars more than they're wanting to get rid of their any version of Bitcoin. Um, does it really matter who Satoshi Nakamoto is? No, unless he wants to be a leader again, and if he does, then I would certainly take his opinion on any issue very seriously if I were convinced that a given person is the Satoshi Nakamoto who wrote the white paper. If memo.cash becomes a huge social network, does it become problematic for blocks to be full of op return data, or does it not matter if someone is willing to use the blockchain? Yeah, to me, I don't really see why you would use Bitcoin for that purpose. But yeah, to me, it is about what you pay with the transaction fee is you get proof of work attached to potentially conflicting data, and that resolves the that ensures that a non-conflicting set of data is continually being selected, and I guess I don't see why that is an issue with a social network exactly. But if they want that, then and it's worth the fees, then yeah, then they can pay the fees. And okay, so there's a lot of excitement about tokens, aka other coins, living on your network in the same infrastructure. What do you think that does to the network in terms of incentives and resources? Okay, so I mean, once again, like, to me, there's nothing. I don't really see why you would need extra tokens in the blockchain. But once again, if people want that, that's fine. And the issue is paying to have a reasonable idea that your transaction is not conflicting with something else. And if it is not my I think it's up to you to decide if you need that. You know what I mean? Crypto Canadian Tire money. Whoop. Oh, he didn't delete it quick enough. Okay. Oh, great question. What's your opinion on proof of stake and POS hybrid coins? Okay, so I don't understand why people like proof of stake. To me, that sounds like I don't know. To me, it I think we know that it doesn't work, because if there is a split in the network, you have the same coins on both chains when the split happens. So so What good does it do you? It doesn't actually resolve a consensus issue if people are really disagreeing. So I think that if people were really going into a proof of stake coin and they really believed that it was going to work, I think eventually that would drive them insane. Kind of like what happened to the Bitcoin core group and their beliefs about the need for their ideas about the developers deciding the rules of Bitcoin and the miners not being in a superior position to them. Any suggestions on how to handle the store of value without usage fallacy when speaking to people on the street and merchants? Okay, that was from Bitcoin Cash. You'll have to explain your question a little more because I'm not sure what you're asking. Oh, well, I mean, to me, people who are not aware of the fundamentals are not able to affect the outcome. So if they're buying a lot, that drives the price up. But I don't think that's what would. I think that there are more important causes that are happening at earlier times, and that's when the people who do understand the fundamentals are buying. So that's really what I'm concerned with. I mean, I really think that like people have to want to understand economics. So if you're talking to them about Bitcoin, and they're not interested in hearing about the fundamentals, well, you know, I guess I would just say, I think that economics is important, but if you are if you aren't interested in understanding it, then whatever. I think Bitcoin adoption should always be focused on the subset of people outside of Bitcoin who are interested in understanding. Because to me, Bitcoin expands in waves, and different people will not be ready to investigate Bitcoin until they're ready. There are many people who think that having a permissioned blockchain, or a blockchain that is de facto permissioned, in that you need permission to spend your coin on actual goods and services, is a good idea. Do you have an opinion on that? Well, I mean, if there were several different people who wanted to be the permission givers, then they would have a reason to use proof of work to resolve their consensus issues. But I would say normally you're just talking about one service that's located at one location and is controlled by one entity, and then they can resolve any consensus issues on their own, because they're the ones who say what the official result is. So no, I don't think permission blockchain makes any sense. Unrelated to crypto, but it sounds like you used to study physics. What topic and what was your story of leaving? So, I just was in a physics PhD program at the University of Texas at Austin, and I was doing general relativity, but I had just made a bad decision, so I got out with the master's degree, because you have to be very, very competitive to be a physicist, and I don't know. I would rather be a teacher than do research, and I need to understand every step before I can go on. So I'm just not able to learn this stuff very well in a classroom setting. So I was not able to keep up with the demands of the program. But I can answer lots of questions on physics. I really like physics, so I was thinking of doing a physics course at some point, because I think that I am much better at presenting the material than doing the research. But most of the people that you have to learn physics from are people who are better at research than teaching. How can we get all the unbanked into the boat? That's a tough one. I don't know. I guess I would say do anthropology and figure out what the unbanked need before they would be interested in thinking about why they would want some Bitcoin. To me, anthropology is a big problem in Bitcoin that isn't being accomplished very well. So yeah, I think that would be a good thing to focus on. Okay, well, Monica says we've reached over a full hour of content, so she wasn't talking to me. She was talking to everybody else. So okay, we'll see if we have any final questions. But I had fun. I hope we will see. I wasn't able to even get started dealing with the requirements of this live stream until I woke up this morning, because I had just returned from a trip, and I had to I had to fix a bunch of things before I could even get to this point. So I will be happy to do this again, but hopefully someone will be able to present me with a means of talking to people that's going to be more more something that will just turn on for me very easily. How was my trip? My trip was great. I went with some friends to Iceland and Sweden and Norway, and we just went around and looked at touristy things. Hey, Lemon, come here. Oop. Sorry. Well, I guess I would say so closing. Does Bitcoin need more developers, scientists, entrepreneurs, or average users to take the next step up? That's a tough one. I think that everybody should you know try to deal with whatever problems they they think they know better than other people. And I guess I would say that Bitcoin is a religion, so maybe like Bitcoin needs psychoanalysts instead of any of the things that you talked about. Psychoanalysts and anthropologists, I think, would be good. I think that's what we need. Do I have wise words for aspiring, toiling, or disgruntled academics? I guess I would say I think academics is a very tough field, and it's something that can potentially give you a kind of status that you can't easily get elsewhere. But I think there are very big demands now, and I think it's like I would say that in I don't know, science is getting more and more difficult all the time. I I don't know. I don't know if academics is a very good choice right now. I don't think I have a good answer because I couldn't do very well in it. Um, I guess I would say like if I could have done. I guess I would say I would probably do better if I entered a physics program now than if I had tried earlier. And uh, my my deficiencies um, have a lot to do with engaging with other people. Um, so I don't know if I have very good advice. I think that I have good advice on how to learn physics. I don't think that I have very good advice on how to be a successful academic at all. I think Austin, Texas is a perfect city to lead the charge in cryptocurrency adoption. Do you agree with this? Yes, I think Austin, Texas is a great choice. So, I don't know. I guess. I don't know. I think that if you do a live stream, then it's a YouTube video after that. But yeah, no. Hopefully this video. So he said, I hope I'm not being rude, but I think my final question was missed. Whether this talk will be archived and can be shared. Yes, that would be good. I prefer if all discussion is archived and can be retrieved later. So I guess I'll stop now. And anyway, I had a good time. Thanks for inviting me. And hope you continue to enjoy my show, Bitcoin Stuff.